is a liturgical season that prepares Christians for the passion, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. It is a time to turn away from sin and refocus the heart and mind on God. Through sincere prayers, fasting, and acts of charity, believers examine their lives, seek forgiveness, and grow spiritually stronger in anticipation of Easter.
Lent is a period when Christians are therefore invited to, in a special way, to reflect on their life, reflect on their encounter with Christ, their discipleship, and align their lives to the dictates, to the teachings of Christ.
Lenten period is what I call religious routines and ordinances.
Time of Lent is a time of sober reflection, time we look into our lives, make analysis, and be able to determine if our lives are in conformity with the will of God.
The 40 days of Lent, from Ash Wednesday to Holy Thursday, excluding Sunday, symbolize the 40 days Jesus spent fasting in the wilderness. Sundays are excluded because each Sunday celebrates the resurrection of Christ, even within the Lenten season. At the heart of this spiritual journey are the three pillars of Lent, which are prayers, fasting, and almsgiving. These practices help Christians discipline the body, humble the soul, and open the heart to God's grace.
The whole of the Christian life, from January to December, we are supposed to be following Christ, walking in his ways, using his word as the lamp to our paths. But this period, that 40-day period, is an imitation of Christ, who went aside, who went into the desert, into the wilderness, in order to pray, to fast, to reconnect deeply with God.
The Lenten season calls us to reflect on the suffering of Jesus Christ for the salvation of man, and that draws us closer to God. That makes us to think deep on how we've gone with God, if our journey with God is in conformity to God's standard.
Prayer during Lent strengthens a Christian's relationship with God, creating space for reflection, repentance, and spiritual renewal. Fasting teaches self-control and sacrifice, reminding believers that spiritual nourishment is greater than physical comfort. Almsgiving expresses love for neighbor, encouraging generosity, compassion, and care for the less privileged.
During the Lent, before the Lent, after the Lent, let us live for Christ and let our life reflect Christ.
Christians, after Lenten season, will model Christ, we imitate Christ, we look like Christ, we behave like Christ, talk like Christ.
Our lives after the Lenten period should reflect that of Christ. It should be a life of love. It should also be a life of sacrifice.
Although Lenten practices may vary across denominations and congregations, the meaning remains the same: a time of spiritual growth, sacrifice, and renewal. It is a journey that leads Christians from reflection to rejoicing, from the cross to the empty tomb.
Every denomination or institution have their own tradition, but the most important thing is the purpose and the practice. What will be our manner or our conduct? We should do it in a sober manner.
As Christians observe the 40 days of Lent, they are reminded that Easter joy is best experienced through sincere preparation, a heart transformed by prayers, strengthened by sacrifice, and softened by love.